That's because I heard that, hey guys, this has been a local thing. So this is my final review of Imperfect Foods. I've had it for roughly 6 or 7 weeks, and so I feel that I can actually give you guys a pretty rock solid feel for what it's like when you get it. So as I point out in my unboxing, you get a box, right? And in the box you get various fruits and vegetables and whatever. And how it works is they start off with, you pick whether or not you eat meat or whether you're a dairy person or you're a vegetarian or a vegan or paleo or whatever, floats your boat, right? And they fill your box, and then you go through each week and you check it and you're like, okay, I like that, I don't like that, and it lets you try new things. Like I tried dandelion bitters or dandelion greens. If I was any more of a chef, maybe I would have worked it in so that that would have been tasty. But it was really bitter and not for me, so I checked, don't ever add that again, right? Now, how Imperfect Foods works their thing is they go to vendors. I actually like organic food, and this has turned out to be a really good deal for me. Is they go to organic vendors and or any vendor, they go to the food vendor and they say, what are you guys not able to give to, say, Fry's or Whole Foods or Kroger's or whatever? And they'll say, oh, this stuff gets destroyed. And they say, well, let's pick through it, take what we think is good, and pay you a marginal fee, and then we'll go ahead and get a fee from someone else, right? And so they deliver these foods. Now, like I said, when you get carrots, you're always guaranteed to get a minimum of something, right? But like last time, not the time this time, but the last time I got carrots, right? But it must have been that they just had a whole bunch. So instead of just getting carrots, I got carrots, like lots of them. And I suspect, I just happen to be ordering the right box at the right time. They fill the rest of the way. Doesn't always happen, but you do get a minimum amount. And they're not all the same size. And now you're going to laugh, but it's okay. Like, here's an apple that you normally would, probably not send to Fry's or Kroger's because they want to charge a certain amount. I got, a bushel, or not bushel, but a bunch of apples. And sometimes they're black apples, sometimes they're red apples. The black apples just turned out to be just dark red, so I don't, it wasn't as exciting as I was hoping. But sometimes you'll get this. And you know what? For someone like myself who's trying to control his munchiness, this isn't bad. This is like a nice snack to get you go through the day and keep going, and it is adorable, let's be honest. So, you can see some differences in size, and if I put it really closer to the camera, see they're the same size. No. But comparison, not a big deal. And so you'll see stuff like that. Another cool thing about it is you get the opportunity to try things that maybe you wouldn't have tried normally, right? So like this cheese, it's a dairy-free cheese, and light on the calories and all that. I just tried it with some naan bread and pizza sauce, and it was bloody spectacular. And the vegetables are really really affordable. When you start buying stuff like this, you start getting into like maybe $3.99 up to $6.99 depending on what you're buying, right? And I normally wouldn't have tried this, but now I'm glad I did. And this is going to become probably more of a staple for like little mini pizzas I make in my air fryer. Here's another one. This is dairy chicken. I hadn't really seen this anywhere else in my grocery stores in my local area. This is fabulous stuff. It is, of course, it's light on the calories because again, it is. I can't really see it's 90 because it's vegan. It's 100% plant based, and this gives me about 2 meals for 2 people, and it cooks up really fast. Now, you don't have to be a vegan or a vegetarian. They've got meat, they've got, dairy, they have paleo, whatever, right? But for me, this is working. And so I've been really pleased with what has arrived. And if I don't like something, and the interaction and response back and forth, only once have I been missing something, and immediately they credit me for the next round. No questions, no if, around, but, just a, hey, sorry about that, same day. Actually, within like a couple hours. But that was, I got it. It was daytime business hours. I don't know if at midnight you're going to get a response or not. So, you know, I told you basically how they work. They go and they collect. And so they are a little bit nicer to the food chain. So there's a sustainability aspect for me that's important. When I get packaging, stuff like that, it may not be important for you. So what I say next may not apply to you. One of the things that they do is they take back the ice bricks where I'm at, right? And they take up to 5 at a time. And so if you aren't going to use it for camping, it's just clogging up your fridge, and you're like, wow, I want to get rid of this. They'll take it back. And now they just start taking back the little space blanket wrapping that they use for the cold stuff. So that really cuts down on how much of my waste goes into, my trash or my recycle bin. So I like that. And plus, I feel better knowing it's being reused. All right, let's talk economics. So at the moment, and it may not last, but at the moment, if I spend 60 on Imperfect Foods, then I don't get a delivery charge, right? Not too bad. I'm assuming that almost all the food delivery places have some sort of bargain like that. So it's not the end of the world. Like, oh my God, that's the only reason to do it. It's not. But what's cool about what I have found is cool is, one, I'm directing myself to eat things more like celery and my tiny apples, and I am less likely to go grab a chocolate bar. And for someone who picked up a number of pounds over COVID, this is important to me. So there's some kind of control that I'm applying to, or at least regulation. Now I still order chocolate. I still get some cookies and stuff in my box. And I got it once. I'll even show you. Lower left-hand corner, that was cinnamon frosted bread. Turned out not to be that great for me. I didn't like it as much, but I still get like little desserts. You see some healthier Pop Tarts, things like that. So you get your nibbles. They call it snacks in there too. And where it did start paying off is I'm like, okay, so 60, you try and get 60, but you never land exactly on 60. But you get really close to 61, 62, 63. I've never had to go to like 65 unless I wanted something specific. If I'm trying to hit just the 60 thing, it's pretty easy to do that. So when I started doing that, I found that on the reverse side, when I go to Target or go to Whole Foods or something like that, I'm going for more something specific. And because most of my grocery shopping's already been done, I'm now spending more in the 20s to 40s if, for cleaning supplies or anything like that. Or, just want to pick up some yummies or spirits or what have you. I'm now down easily for the month or easily for a week. Let's just go with that. I'm now down to probably below 120, which maybe even below 100. So you got my 60 for this, 65, and then any extras I need to get, some teas or whatever. There you go. So economically, this is actually working out for me. I'm spending less money, so that's a good thing. It's also killing some time. I don't have to go to Whole Foods or to Fry's or Target, or whatever, to get stuff all the time, or even the convenience store. I'm finding that, I know food's arriving, and if I'm hungry or I want some stuff, a lot of times I'll think, is that arriving Wednesday, which is when it shows up. And, it actually helps control my spendiness, if you will. Makes me a little more thrift. Now, on days that it delivers, you get a link. It tells you when you're roughly expected to be delivered and how many houses or stops, we'll say stops, before it gets to you. If you're not home, who cares? The refrigerant stuff stays very cold inside the wrapping. But if you're kind of like, you want to know when it's out there, so you can just go get it. It's kind of a nifty thing. And it's not set up for an app. It's just a text that takes you to a web page. So it shows up easily on your phone, and that's kind of nice. Well, I've been really pleased with it, and if you're interested in trying it out, I'll try and find my code and put it in the description. I think you get an advantage, or I get a good kudos or something. But it's definitely worth, especially if you're busy. Man, if you're busy, I remember having to stop, before COVID, coming back from work and stuff, and you're like, man, I don't want to stop to go to the store. This actually turns out to be a pretty nice thing. So that's what I got to say about Imperfect Foods. For being Imperfect Foods, it has actually been a pretty nice solution for me. I hope that helps anyone. If you have any questions, just shoot them to me. And if you do want to give it a try, please use my code. All right. Thanks.